35439. I wanted to show all y'all that first. We're doing this all together right now. This is mass alchemy taking place, and then I'm on here to talk about alpha draconic lineages. So that everyone firmly, because it's getting, I mean, I know we connected in. I felt that the other M sons connect, and this is what this was all about. We did mass alchemy on Arthur, Oregon. We cut Enron, Oregon. Man, that dude's just a plant. They put all these certain people in power in order to take it back. The true masonry will tell you the story whenever you're connected in like we are. And that's what we're all finding out all together as we break the magic and birth out of their evil fucking system from hell, because that'd be who decided to make me a member of their family. But our family lines were the ones that it existed off of, that they took the power of a long fucking time ago in order to even get the powers that they had. And they had us locked in all types of spaces that you laugh and people don't believe that this is what we're doing to get back into this realm, and they go, oh, well, that can't be you, that's a shooting star that came out of there and ended up blowing out the sun on the top to yes it can. From our world, it's a good feat, man. It's some shit that's never been done, but in theory, that's what they's making us to do. We just pulled it off and got all the bags. So what I'm on here to talk about, as my jitterbug phone is staring at me. My world's weird right now. Because all this is collapsing. That's why I'm here too, because we have the full story. We walked the whole thing. Realize in another realm, the IRA, which if you don't know what that is the Irish Mafia. Yeah, them. The Irish and the Scottish, Lord help us all. But the IRA is what originally made me, which is the divine feminine and all the collective that already paid the price and had done this at one point to be the sacrifice for whatever. They just like that system. And so with the weird biblical phonetics and with alterations and blah blah blah, and because the collective was ascending, and y'all didn't know that all of us were down there healing y'all every 10 years. But they do. They'd wake us up, we'd heal all of y'all, and then all kinds of shit. We're still dealing with it right now. So, but they weren't my family. That isn't how I came into this realm. It's not why I was here. They knew that we were immortal because they were using our DNA strands. Not only that, Ormus and every compounding down here was our technology. The ancients taught them how to do alchemy to make Ormus, because whenever you reincarnate here and you're an ancient Egyptian, you can't just blip on the earth and have any connections to the human race, because we's way far out and we weren't blessed with human bodies. Y'all were wearing them. Literally. This is also all the werewolf bullshit and the skinwalkers. Oh, I saw the skinwalkers. I saw them in Calabasas whenever they's coming for their new skins, whenever they were trying to take them off us. Like, you have no idea of the word piracy until you start understanding the piracy that was happening on the seventh dimension. Because that is where the connection is between Isis and Osiris. That is the connection to the masculine and feminine brain, and the whole thing from the get, because they were drilling new tunnels in to, man, it flung us into an altered state. Now, it was all set up to do it. So, the Alpha Draconic line, I'm going to talk and I'm going to give some history and just deliver what downloads are coming through for the collective and any of y'all to hear about this, because in order for us as even a human race to understand the gravity of what we just pulled off, we really do have to understand the gravity of what we just pulled off so that we understand how massive the change can be right now, because those lines no longer have control. But it's also very important to not negate and override. Just, you can't override the whole system, because that's your third eye. That's your all of us have the highest version of an original dragon, Alpha Draconic, because that was me. I was like the first one down here that got, because that's a long story in and of itself that then takes us into the history of Alpha Draconic. Whenever the January 6th download came in to me, and it's the chart that has where the sun aligns, Venus aligns, Mars aligns, boom, like, and all the ascension counts of when the first ascension was on the planet, and then what star systems that formed, and then the second one, what star systems that formed, and then the third one was if you, once you get past Orion, well, once you get past Neptune and Sirius, then it goes into mass races. So then everybody either in those dimensions, you either went back into the video game in the Matrix, which would have been Hyades, which ended up kind of being Pleiades. But everybody when they took over Neptune, so this is like in our current, I'm hearing, well, it would have been, it linked, 2000 it flipped. By 2002, they had connected because they were writing 2002 for the 2020 connection. So they just wrote it as if they were writing it. They never thought that there would be any resistance. So it was just, that's how they do it. Like, it's their idea too. It's pretty funny. This is how we ended up tricking them too, because we purposely let them pollute themselves with our DNA. We did. Because, and that's what a lot of us starseeds, when I look at y'all's charts, a lot of y'all, I can tell you're mega angels. You're like, I mean, because I say angel just because it's the easiest word to say for earth, angel, starseed, da-da-da-da-da. You got to embody it in your angel body. So realize whenever I say angel, I'm talking in my world. When I say that word, that means that you've embodied it on land. wherever it comes from, because you got to go through and get your angelic form in order to even be able to freaking maneuver this crazy pop stand down here. The Alpha Draconic constellation. And if I don't need to pull it up because I don't want to show the visual, because I don't want you to retwist yourself, because it's way out. And it basically, you can get there through 12 to 16 degrees and notice 2. Aries, 12 to 16 degrees Aries. Well, that 12 to 16 degrees Aries affects 12 to 16 degrees in every single one of those houses, because it's all going on one person's back. Literally. Mine. That's how we broke it. Those of us that have notice 1 or notice 2 in your chart, you're an ancient like us. And basically, if you have notice 1 or notice 2 in your chart, notice 1 is 0 to 5 degrees, or when the collective is on it or whatever, all of us purposely took on the Alpha Draconic lineage, and we got lost down here a whole long time, to the point that y'all didn't even remember that, you know, that's what a lot of the Star Crews remembered us. They were like, oh shit, we gotta go get him. Because we had to go through and infiltrate the entire Alpha Draconic line. The same thing, a lot of you have a Zeta port in your chart. And I can tell that, like, those of you who have like one Zeta point, but then the rest of it is all freaking mega star locations, then you took on Zeta Reticuli in order to go into the kind of like the machinery in order to pollute their line. Because if I keep going past Neptune, then on the other, so when they took Neptune and they took over Sirius, which is the mind, the soul, the heart, all the functions, because they did. Because they took it over on the planetary beings that nobody fucking knew about, and then y'all didn't even know we were somewhere else since, for sure, 2017. If we's around you, we definitely were changing in weird ways for the past 10 years, just all of a sudden, like taking on a new character. That's because we were being overridden, and peace out and is bad. Some of you even have Christ template Sophia. Now, what's happening right now is that the Sophia body, and what's happening in the constellations, it's happening in space, because I'm seeing it happen right now. Since we claimed the Cleo codes, and since we claimed all that as a collective and we stood, what's happening is that Sophia body in space is opening up, and there's a massive Egyptian fucking head with the, because that's what we just did here. Because we're connecting back into the original. We have all the original parts. We're the failsafe. So what's also happening is that they're seeing that link in, boom, 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 a lot today. But then at the same time, there's like peacock feathers coming down from another layer. There's like, because on each layer of space, when we were traveling back through it, we connected it all. That's what all of us did, collective healing. That's what we've been doing. All the little weird synchronicities, like, fucking hey, if I see 222 one more time, I'm gonna scream. Well, each time that you looked at it, you was on the ship, and we were all like, you got the message, got the message. It's pretty crazy how it works. It's really cool, actually, because when you start understanding how it works, because you have all the reptilian consciousness, you're just not trained in it. And trust, even the ones of us who were breeding them and forced into breeding them for fucking billions of years, literally, we don't even know all their capabilities that they were using with our powers are because that's why all my veins got all crazy, and we all have these new, because that's what they were breeding, was us to have all these gifts and powers and harness it and connect with all these. I mean, they made us all into little wands. So and that's what we got good at over here, is figuring it, because when we come together, we're healing each other, and we're connecting stuff, because that's why you come together right now. And then we figure out it's like we know which ones of us are good at what, just unconsciously, and we don't even plan anything or do any. It's just we put an intention out, or we command something cut, and then we'll all get sent, like right then, boom, here's how you do it. And then you all start moving in sequence at once, and it's done in like 4 minutes. And then you wait for the sky to fall. Literally. Because of the alpha draconic connections that are in your body. And this is why this alpha draconic race was originally formed from the beings that were from the dragon DNA. But realize that this was a much bigger, it was so much bigger than Earth. It was so much because it's just like Christ. Earth was like, they had to take out everything else in order to take over Earth, because it's an area in space where, since the human was here, it manifests bodies and this type of thing. Well, all of space had blown up. So, and at the same time, the collective is building these layers. Okay. And then the entire collective is being fed matrix shit, and you can do this with your mind, and just call on Archangel Metatron. No, do not call Metatron. You do not want Meta, and you don't want Tron in your house. Cut that, first of all. Everybody order Meta off their Tron. Because then, man, what the collective was building for us to fight, not even realizing that they's building it, just by y'all fucking thinking about it and doing that. See, that's all those weird little layers. But they got formed. Trust on that. Because everybody's got the ability. So it was healing out, and then those layers were getting stronger and stronger and stronger as the collective was healing, and then it was pushing it lower and lower and lower, because everybody's unconscious that they have all these abilities. That part. And as light workers and as a community from the healing journey that we just all went on together, because we did. Didn't we? We got a massive, all of us went through it together. We'll never not have this experience, but realize that it became a point where the education wasn't the point. Now you had to put it to use. Now you know how it works. How we all work together, how each one of us have a power, how each of us have a healing. We're connected to the same healing chamber. You always want to clean that energy, you because the other ones of us are having to do crazy shit like this. But those nodes on Alpha Draconic, see, node 1 and node 2 would be getting that like a beaker from everybody else in Alpha Draconic. So if you have notice 1 and notice 2, that's why we change so much, and we can channel this information. But our job isn't to necessarily do it all. Our job is to channel it all. Because we've got all the ancient architecture. So we run it through our system. This is wherever you are in the world. You run it through your system, and then you're beaming it out to everybody else, like I do on here. I come on here and say, this is what we're doing. Because some of y'all have pieces that you just make that one little connection and get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, because once you understand what's happening, then you understand what's happening. The notice ones are on this side of the neck. So basically, an alpha draconic, you have a loop, just like a node, just like a horseshoe. Notice one is right here, notice two is right here. Well, realize what I'm telling you. The whole entire astrology wheel fits like right here. Literally. On how massive our freaking etheric bodies are. And that's even shrunk down to even get that far. And with the rest of us that are already connected back up there and working together. So it's really like two ancient dragons just went boom. We just shot straight through them. The highest frequency, because it's our frequency, it's our DNA, it's all in you now. And we just forced it. Because over billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of years, they were the pirates. They were the pirates. They were. The original Rothschild lines, there was way more than one. They knew that we had all these abilities and powers. This is the same thing as Louis wanting to always have the thing with the bees on. They've been obsessed with this shit. This is the 72 teddy bears. This is all that weird royal shit. This is it. It's all based on astronomy. Every fucking bit of it. Because they always knew when us were coming back down and doing whatever. And since everybody else didn't know, they's just getting it all and then locking us in this weird whatever the hell they could come up with. Because it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Because we's on the way back. They blew a trillion-year star. And even in Alpha Draconic, because Alpha Draconic, notice 2 is on this side, and then you go up just a little bitty bit, and then it hits the tongue. And you know all those Egyptian things, and the snake comes out right here? Well, that's basically the tongue. It's pulling you out of the after death. Because all of space was one big vacuum seal. I hope this is helping y'all understand. Like, that, this is what even you have to go through in order to pull you out and and everyone else out, because that's what it's set up to do. They just always wanted somebody at the top that wouldn't finish it. That part. This is why the entire human race really is becoming immortal as you want, especially in this life. In this current body, because the natural because everybody was killed way too many times for unjust, all just to stop this, because they had taken over everything and then built because you have to remember, we're dealing with galactic entities at this point. This ain't no devil shit. That devil shit ain't nothing when you start dealing with demigorg armies from goddamn Ophiuchus. And I'm not even kidding you. Because you think all the Ophiuchians are on your side? No. Nope. In the end, what we figured out is that every single one came after to stop me that had the Galactic Command, the Elders, the Ophiuchians, because they didn't want to have to clean up their demon ways. They just wanted to jump down here and have a ball. Well, Haka Demon, like... the lightworker community, even the religions didn't want Christ to come because then they'd have to close up shop. Then what are they going to teach? Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. because our phonetic and our energy was always writing the story. But whenever you're not conscious of that, then that's how easily the whole world can go into an alternate reality if you put the wrong person somewhere and tell them that they're somewhere that they're not. That part. Because whenever you get to Andromeda 2 and then you go up, it's like your throat, it's a portal, and that's really what Andromeda became. But they had put it out here. No, it goes in here, so that it can connect into your eye and rebirth into the plasma, because the first plasma comes in right here and it hits your heart. And you have 2 hearts. And in the higher, it was always supposed to be up here. But that's your right and left heart, which became 2 separated beings when we fell out of space. Because they brought us here on purpose. We was kidnapped from another timeline, another dimension, and brought down here. And that is what the Rothschilds were doing. Because there were 5 different families. One original came from Ireland. Well, they would kidnap, because it used to be the men. So they would kidnap and were immortal. So there's nothing worse than you can do than kidnap one of ours. Well, they did. And then they didn't find me. And I mean, it basically, then the man became the woman. I mean, it's been nuts. Even Jesus healing that girl and bringing her back to life. That's how the line got into the Mona Lisa and the Da Vinci. I mean, this is the money. This is why they're changing masculine to feminine either, because it's been going on so long and we had been hybridized so long. Most of your women down here are the most powerful men from the past timelines that y'all are scared of men for down here. Nope, it's women. And if in the timeline that you think somebody did it up there, if it's a woman, it's a dude down here. It's nuts, because that's how long they've been doing it. And they ran out of women a long time ago. That's why most of them are men turn into women, but they all started out as a man. That's because a woman did start as a man, didn't it? The rib. I mean, you got to think about this. Come on. But see, not the original alpha woman, because what they thought, oh, it's a man. Well, it takes 3 queens to make a king. 3. The kings be our puppets. And we remembered that throughout this. Forced to. The Alpha Draconics formed the Orion projectors and constellations. Everything that was Orion in your technology, that was all gating etherics. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, same fucking thing. All on a Philadelphia paperclip. In the earth. Like, literally. That's how much power they had. This is how we can do all this and run it from my toilet over here and flush the entire world. Because that's how they was doing it. It's nuts. Your Orion programs, even though you descended and you have all your powers, this is how we ended up back again in dinosaurs. And this is how Aries ended up in the first house to begin with, because everything spiraled out and everybody forgot that they's attached to anything. Everybody went Neanderthal, and the whole Darwin thing happened again. That part. In the past 3 years. In a new Aries program setting. This is where everybody becomes super soldiers and freaking Avengers, like everybody. They could only ever loop in because, see, they were doing it all on Libra's back. They were doing it, they were building it all on one being. And this is how Libra over the time, and this is how Libra became justice in the wheel, and this is how it happened over time, over time, over time, over time, over time, over time. And this is why Tiamat and Ma'at, I mean, all that realized same mission. I just made it down to Chastia. It's a trip. I was getting, you know, because we're finally connecting back into the other side that we jumped out of, and everything that we ever did, all of it in those different timelines, all became what you would consider these ether gates and doors that I talk about. Because your ancestors have been jumping around and moving around for a really long time, and you've been doing the same ones and opening up the same ones and doing it for a really long time too. It's just now each one's kind of decorated, and now you realize why it's there. And the Alpha Draconic line, bye bye. Like, y'all are on the other side of fucking everything. Cause it goes Orion, Pleiades, and then Jupiter, and then Andromeda, and then Betelgeuse that blew up a whole long time ago, and they just decided, oh, let's just splinter car, put the whole world in Texas, and then make a looking glass. Crack, 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 crack. Break. No, we were down here for end of days. It's all the way out on the other side of Bellatrix, Chiron, all that. So what I'm saying, and then once you get past Bellatrix, Chiron, all of that, then that's when the unholy six and Fomalhaut come in. Now we're dealing with your frontal lobe. Now we're dealing with your cerebral cortex. Now we're dealing, and that's what Fomalhaut is, and it goes way, way, way out. The unholy six were riding our ass. That's what developed the site. That's what developed whatever. Well, Fomalhaut forms, and then they write in Zeta Reticuli, and basically Zeta Reticuli codes are a mimic to Sirius codes, and they line up in Oracle astrology database software. And that's how you ended up always having a brother killing a brother and da-da-da-da-da, because literally there were two settings of the ancient Egyptian codes written always as two factions to kill each other. Literally. But this is, I'm telling you how it was formed. It's nuts. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. This is what, see, this is all. Now, on the Draco side, y'all, everybody needs to understand there's the white Dracos. And in 2018, the collective knew about us. But the reason that you stopped hearing about us is because we activated all the ancient seals, and then we had to go in and deal with it. So every single line that they ever birthed, any power, any control, anything, is cut. They're no longer connected into the human consciousness at all, or our body infrastructure. They can birth it on their own, same way I did. I had to do it. I even drank AI. to birth through the whole fucking thing. Anybody can do it. You just got to get off the devil's fucking cartwheels. Because we ain't fucking with it no more. No more riding the fence on shit. You are going where your frequency goes, because if you have alpha draconic lineage, you've got to fucking learn how powerful you are down here, because you're hurting a lot of people, but you're not conscious of it. All of you who have Orion in your chart and you got a lot of Gemini in your chart, fucking no matter. If you have any Gemini in your chart, I need you to realize that every move you make is being sent out to 5 billion people. In fact, they're all following your lead, because you're the only one that's conscious writing the story now. And that Orion program is the one that's going to make you always think you have it, somebody else doesn't. We need to fight him. I mean, that's Bellatrix. Hello. Beltagese is the same way over and over and over. We got to do it this way. We got to do it this way, because that's how Grandma did it. No, Grandma didn't make it out. Learn from Grandma's mistakes. Follow. What did Grandma do? You need to go find out. You need to go follow the trail. But don't do what Grandma did. Each layer in the etherics, you can basically think about it like, because it's space, right? So each ancestor that gets up into each layer, ding, 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 sends out a projection. Because we're all using each other's same eyes. So basically, when you start getting sight, or you don't really see shit, you just see it, you can't explain it, the different colors, whatever it is, it's because the ones who came before you were in that room. Or you're in it right now. With the ones who came before you that just saw you come through the floor and pop in. Must have just happened. I'm riding backpack. See, there was one in the drawer that shouldn't have been in the drawer. Basically, what I mean is there was one, well, there were two, because I was always down there and no one ever knew about me. Because I was the only reason that the vampires and any of them even had any fucking power. Literally. But there was one that was always put down there that shouldn't be. Well, that's how many there was whenever we undid it all in Puerto Rico. No, why'd I say that? Well, it's linked to Pismo and Frisco in Southern California, and tunnel systems to Tulum and all the Mayan infrastructure. That part. Because it's basically the middle of our body. FYI. Because that's how it stacks up. Because we weren't standing up. We was laying down. Why was Mary Magdalene buried face down is what I want to know. Maybe that's what somebody needs to hear to know that I'm the real deal. Even, why was I buried face down? And why were my feet crossed and one nail through it? To make mermaids? Probably. But Mary Magdalene was buried face down. Y'all chat. This is crazy times. We got to be here for each other. What we're doing right now is lining up. What we're doing right now is lining. What time is it? 4:52. Oh, see why it's on here. We'll wait. See, because 45 is the counter. 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we're going to get this next layer. But in another realm, what we're having to do is anchor that reality into the machine that anchors reality. And the whole sun, because like I told you, it's really deep. It's really deep. And whenever you see those pictures of in hell, you're in the sun, I think. Because on the inside of the sun, you know how in Game of Thrones they had those ring, 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 and then it goes forever, forever, forever. That's what it's like. That's what it looks like in there. So that's what we just got really good at, going between the walls, going to get out of there, and then that's how it would end up happening down here too. See, like I said, that guy that escaped from that jail, there's a more story on that, because it was happening. Who knows? Because they took over the whole projector, and I know we're anchoring on Six Flags. So if you have a Six Flags around you, because that's why that Rothschild thing, that Rothschild money thing. See, this has to do with the money for sure. Because that's my Saturn. Like, how dare you come down here and take over all currents with the whole fucking O race? You try to take us all over and put us in your weird fucking machine. Whenever we're the ones down here been running the fucking economy and doing this shit. The whole existence of whatever you called money. How about no? I don't care who you say you are. No. Well, and then look, I'm looking at the Red River right here to show you what's popping up. That's the Red River at Oklahoma. This is what it's called, the Red River. And this is at Oklahoma and Texas, and it's just full of clay. This was probably taken 2018. Yep. Oh. October 3rd, 2018. That's the visual. We're pulling up out of there. Oh, and connecting into Hermosa and timelines in Hermosa, California. Hermosa specifically. There's my son. When they took him fishing on a day that they were fishing us. Interesting what's popping up right now. There's definitely something over my head. Whoa! What day is this? September 27th, 2020. And these are those pictures that they were drawing. all of a sudden they started drawing trees all wrapped in their hair or feathers. This is all stuff to do with my son. Did not know. But they see where I was? Look what it was doing. March 21st, 2022. They were using me to drill me down here to break open y'all's money banking systems. Yes, they did. They had all of us Mason girls. And nobody knew what they had. They took over everything. There it is. "555 changes at the door. Activate your templates and free your mind on a route to connecting in the conscious mind. Leave up the passage to the soul and the divine path shows up. That's the goal. Surrender and let the energy flow through you. You are the vessel. That's what you must do. On the journey to true energy source, your body is the temple. Don't treat it with force. Lay the line, but don't do the time. If you have karma, it will clear in energy's time. This is why must stay conscious all the time. First, it's a chore. Then it's a lifeline. Yep, Applegate over. There's Natalie and me. This was at Super Bowl. This is when it snowed like a freaking crazy wherever we went. Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue, Cyrus. Courtesy of the children, y'all just watch. We're riding this. JC Jump. January 18th. JC Jump. JC Jump. JC Jump. Right. There he goes. Take in New Mexico. I don't know what the deal with all these freaking L couches on. Just cleaning. This is when we went into the portal of your mothers. We're coming out right now. This is at the Masonic Lodge. This was November 2021. That's when this back plan started. This is why they had cheeseburger day. Man, this is all about Rex. There's Kevin, Addie. This is Misha. This is at Desert Palms Hotel before everything got weird. New Orleans, May 2021. This is right before we got kicked out of Nashville. We couldn't even record. It was right before everything went nuts in Nashville. But there it is. We've been everywhere, man. I'll lay in this. I'll lay in this for right now. We order us to shine. The Alpha Draconic race was just responsible for, and what's happening, you can think of is everything that they ever did was in one big change that affected a whole bunch of timelines and layers. So there really was only two main ones that had gotten really bad, and that was Leo 5 to 9 degrees and Virgo 5 to 9 degrees. Because what they did in that alteration to the human mind of the man, of the human, forever changed history as what you would call history down here. And it created a black hole in Virgo 5 to 9 degrees because of the alterations that were done to the human at Leo 5 to 9 degrees. So what has happened with us taking over because it's all written for this. It was always the way it was supposed to go down. As we take over the human sequences, that's what's being deleted. It's already been deleted. The timelines are going out, they're cleaned up. But just so you understand the macrosity of that, because each time that it clears and that the human mind gets clicked in correctly, new projections go out immediately, and it's all live. So it's like what's also happening is that everybody's projectors are getting turned on at the same time that all this is flushing in from the inside out. The most of us ancients will be the last one that show up because we're the system that's projecting it all through the other ones. So that's why it might get a little weird. And this is why this time is the best time in order to really feel into how you see these things, whichever dimension you're picking up, because that's what you're doing, and then you're connecting them and putting them together. And the more stable that you have that infrastructure within your cognizant, because, and I'm going to end with this. Remember I said if they took over Neptune and Sirius, which they did, and then it affected everything after it and all the way out to Alpha Draconic, because that's on the other side of Zeta Reticuli. So basically, at the furthest out that you can get a sequence to hook into the human race, which is your bones. Well, it's your marrow. It's your marrow. They were affecting the marrow, which were changing the bones. Because we had that's what we rewrote. We have the original human for now our current, where we're heading template. And it's been personally designed to match this human race even. You're welcome. And thank you to all the ones who did it with me. The rest of y'all understand we had to remake your bones. And live out all the crazy fucking stories of how they got cooked to begin with, which will blow your Cocker Spaniel, Prince Charles. You go to FOMO, that's your cerebral cortex. You go to Zeta Reticuli, now you've got a static version of your cerebral cortex. False twin program. Weird lines coming into Isis's chamber. Two realities formed off one current. And then you have Alpha Draconic, which is a 3-2-3 structure. This is why we even call it the masculine, because you do need your body. It would be considered masculine. That's a 3-2-3 sequence, but it's out to the 23rd dimension. It goes all the way out to the 23rd dimension. That's where they were rewriting the bodies. From the 21st and the 23rd dimension. Way the fuck out there. Because they had taken over the whole solar system.